Hi guys, welcome to the Craft Beer channel. Today I'm down at Gipsy Hill Brewing in South London to talk about doing a collaboration brew. Now, every 3 months on beermerchants.com we release a box of our favourite beers of a certain style or a certain season. And in April it's going to be IPAs. In fact, the world's best IPAs. And I decided I want to have a go at brewing one of those. So I've come down to my friends here and we've got a pretty cool idea about an IPA we're going to put in that box. I didn't know much about Gipsy Hill and their hoppy session beers until a few months ago when I tried Hepcat. It's this huge, juicy fruit chewing gum like session IPA. I bloody loved it. It was like a mini version of the IPA that I wanted to create for the Beer Merchants box, but when I approached them, the idea got even better. So here I am at Gipsy Hill. I'm here with Sam, one of the founders, and Simon, the head brewer. You have quite a strong idea of what you want to do, is that correct?
Some of the styles of beers that I guess you could say obsessed with at the moment are the East Coast, like Massachusetts style, big IPAs, big in terms of ABV. They're cloudy as hell.
Is hell cloudy?
It could be.
More smoky,
I've heard it clouds over. Really juicy, huge aromas, low bitterness.
So how does that style make you feel? I guess making hazy beer is easy.
I mean, yeah, it is. Yeah, it's slightly easier.
So how are we going to go about making something that juicy without the bitterness?
It's connected to the haze, which is the yeast.
Right.
So over here we use a lot of very clean yeasts. At Gipsy Hill we use clean yeasts to make our beers. What they're using over there are the English style yeasts, the English ale yeasts that have in them the fruity esters. And what they're doing is they're hopping halfway through fermentation.
Yep.
And really combining the fruitiness from the yeast and using that to draw out a lot of the aromas and juiciness from the hops.
So does that has a big difference if the beer's still sort of living, still fermenting?
If part of what's in suspension is the yeast, and during its later cycle of fermentation has absorbed a lot of those essential oils, then that is part of what will transfer onto your palate.
And what about the hops? Like these guys, I guess they're using the really big C's.
Honestly, no. Necessity breeds innovation.
So there's not enough big C hops to there.
And the thing is, perhaps a few years ago, London's a curious microclimate for it, but a few years ago we would have been identifying ourselves with Columbus or Citra or Cascade. I think it's fair to say that we're trying to sort of shift and phase bitterness out of our palate and almost out of our diets, and in doing so, the kind of the big citrusy or grapefruity aromas and tastes that used to come that was specifically associated with these IPAs and pales is steering more towards the tropical element. Yep. So the tropical spectrum, where you're looking and directly searching for overripe mango or papaya or lychee. I mean, they seem to be three of the most popular things from the new innovation of hops that's coming through.
So if we work backwards, like you said, so the first thing people are going to see is the colour.
What do we want it to look like? What vision do you have for this lovely frothy pint here?
So for me, it would be like, in Indiana Jones, when he lifts up they're lifting up all the different holy grails of choosing, and there's one that just is the most gold thing you could possibly imagine.
Right.
That's what I'd want it to look like when you held it up to the light. So it's like God shining light down on it.
Quite ethereal. I mean, because of the kind of flavours that we want to investigate, I'd be keen on using like a lower colour Marisotto. Big fan of oats, so I'd like to put some oats in there.
Hey, it's your party.
So, because that will give the lovely mouthfeel. So then we can start looking at putting a Cara into it of some description. Cara Gold doesn't really impart an awful lot of colour, but it will also give a little bit more mouthfeel and body and a bit more viscosity to the beer.
And we want it pillowy and velvety.
Yeah. How strong do we want it?
Between 6.5 to 8.5 or 9.
That's what I was going to say. But I don't think you want to go as high as 9.
No, it's a bit of a benchmark.
Particularly in the UK, that's then double IPA.
Yeah.
In America, it's
just another day.
breakfast. Yeah, so it's aroma next. So what are we going to get? What's going to get that huge tropical, like that mango, that papaya, that lychee thing?
We got to lead El Dorado.
Completely agree. I mean, some of the specific flavour qualities that have been linked to it as well are also slightly unusual. So it leads with tropical fruit flavours, but it's also been associated with pear, watermelon, and stone fruit. I think that actually sounds really fucking intriguing.
Yeah.
So El Dorado has got to be top table, isn't it, really? And then thereafter,
Trifecta supporting act of
trifecta,
Azaka, Mosaic, and Equinox.
it's the holy trinity. So what are we thinking for dry hopping?
It's going to be a blend of the same. We'll be looking probably more Equinox in the dry hop versus the late hop, just because it's got pretty punchy accumulate levels, and just as the dry hop, you get more of that raw fruit as opposed to the pepper.
Completely agree. How many grams?
Got to balance your oils, haven't you, Sam?
That's right.
Got to balance your oils. Awesome. So that is our.
That's pretty much our recipe, actually. Isn't
That
it?
is our opaque
Choose the yeast.
East Coast. So that's it for a couple of weeks while we wait for the brew day to come round. It's going to take about 5 weeks for the beer to be made ready. And then in April, out comes the IPA box and you guys can try it. And we'll probably have a party here to release it, right?
Absolutely.
Try not to drink it all before it goes in the box. Awesome, cool. Well, brew day video is coming up soon. Take care.